it's Bunny, and it's everybody's favorite day of the week. The day of the week when we ask ourselves, does this thing really work? And oh my God, how long has it been since I said that very statement? Sippy, sippy. While we reflect on that, I bet it's been like 6 months. Far, far too long. Today, you guys, we are trying the FADETTE. Let me know if you guys have seen this online. It is a brand new makeup sponge to test out. Have you ever been doing a little home remodeling, a little paint touch up, and you were rolling paint on the wall and you thought, my gosh, why can't I just apply my makeup like that? Well, here comes the FADETTE. I did get mine on Amazon. I honestly thought it was a little bit pricey. It's just under $28. You get 3 sponges, 2 like roller tools. One, it has this little bit of a curve to it, like a traditional like paint your wall roller brush. The other one is just like completely vertical. It has a slight little bit of a curve to it. And then you do get 1 extension rod, which will snap into place to lengthen either tool. And you're basically supposed to be able to use this for any kind of cream, makeup, foundation, self-tanner, body lotion. I'm trying to think like body makeup, you know, because you're supposed to be able to like go like this, I guess, in the hard to reach crevices. This, however, has been a pretty interesting experience so far. I ordered this last week and the first one that I got had been used because I got it and one of the sponges was covered in foundation already. That was a little bit yucky, but I was able to just swap it out. Amazon did send me another one, which also had no safety seal or anything on it whatsoever. The packaging was exactly the same, but at least these sponges do look new. Now, based on my previous experience, I did go ahead and wash and sanitize all of these because, hey, let's not take any chances. So at least I can go ahead and vouch for that, however, that I have already washed these sponges and sanitized them, deep cleaned them, microwaved them, and they still look brand new, which is pretty good. I have tested some makeup sponges in the past that work very well, but then the first time that you actually give them a nice scrub down and deep cleanse, they'll start like ripping apart. You guys know what I mean? I love those like fuzzy textured sponges, but literally the first time you wash them, I've never had one like that that didn't at least get a tiny tear. Very first time. They're really easy so far to slip on and off. Ta-da. You just kind of stick it on there and then it is going to roll. Okay. Y'all, it does not very easily roll. Why? Why are these things happening? It's supposed to turn, no? Oh, very important. We're discovering things together. Okay, so it was not turning at all and I was like, oh, what the hell is happening? So you actually have to like collapse it like that, and I guess that locks it into position. Why would you ever want to have that? I don't know. But then you pull it out slightly and it makes a very frightening for plastic snapping sound, but then it does like freely rotate. Very, very exciting. So yeah, there we go. Just like yield, paint your wall. I have my little tub of sea monkey water over here. We're about to hydrate the sponges. I will say right now, they do seem quite a bit firmer than like a beauty blender. Sometimes I like that. Most of the time I don't. I'm hoping that they're gonna puff way up. So just for a visual comparison, this is a beauty blender and this is the most comparable beauty blender shaped tool. It's also gonna be very exciting today to see how this foundation is even gonna look on my face because if you guys know, short history of my foundational wear, I have been doing nothing but one form of airbrush makeup or another for I don't even know, like the past probably 6 years at least. I was addicted to Dior Air Flash. Then when they discontinued this, I moved over to Little Luminesce in a can. I do love this. However, I then stepped up to full on Luminesce where I put the little drops of makeup, and now I pretty much do like my primer, my foundation, my bronzer, like everything. I'll spray it on my face. Today, I dug around in my makeup drawer and I found this foundation, which I think I did briefly try this like maybe at least 2 years ago. I did love it, but it is 2 years old and it is probably not the right shade for me because I have no self tanner on. I am quite pale. You know what? I'm gonna soak the sponges first. I'm gonna do that. Give me a second. I think I'm going to even apply my primer with this. Normally I do use a damp beauty blender to blend out whatever primer I use. And honestly, you guys, I wish we were live right now. I'm torn between which primer do I want to use. I fell back in love with this Guerlain, the gold one, but I do also really love the Milk Makeup primer as well. So one last look. This is the sponge when it's dry. And now let's go ahead and splish splash. See how much it expands. I'm hoping quite a lot. It's also really interesting. You know, normally a beauty blender, you're tapping and bouncing to blend, but this is kind of like literally just, you're gonna be rolling it on. So how much tapping to blend are you gonna be able to do? So I've soaked up a lot of water down here and it really is not expanding that much. This still feels like quite a dense sponge. Maybe once again, it's because you're gonna be doing more of a rolling than a tapping. So let's go ahead. Oh, however, that process was a lot easier now that the sponge has expanded a little bit. Let's go ahead and go with the foaming. Why not? Very on trend right now. So normally I just go not like this because I'm normally not like rolling it on. Y'all, this is honestly maybe not as weird as I thought it would be. I just don't know if it's gonna give us as good of a blend, but maybe it's gonna be faster because you really do cover a lot of area very quickly. But I do feel like particularly around my nose, like it's harder to get into the little cracks and crevices of my face. Now I am gonna go ahead. My next step is to use this, which is my good old Garnier under eye rollerball. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the normal shaped beauty blender to see if I can't blend that out. And then I'm gonna cut away for a second because my next step is eyeshadow. And then I go in with cream blush, cream contour, and foundation, of course. Yeah, these just don't expand like hardly at all, which is kind of an odd, ooh, look at that. I don't know if y'all are gonna be able to see, but there is already like a little tear in this one, a tiny little chunk missing. I didn't remember to check to see if it had any like little imperfections like that. I was more or less just looking to see if it looked used or not. But let's see how easy this is gonna be able to blend out when it's stuck on a stick. So yeah. This is like, okay, I feel like I'm more like aggressively rubbing and partially poking myself in the eye. I am still doing a little bit of a dabbing motion, like so, or more of a dragging, I guess, because, oh! It just broke a little bit. Luckily it like slides back in place, but kind of through this whole process already, you guys, I am just wishing I had a normal beauty blender because I feel like I'm applying like so much more like pressure. I feel like I'm pulling at my skin more. I don't really feel like I'll be able to judge until I get to like foundation or maybe even cream contour. Maybe I should do one side with a normal beauty blender and one side with this silliness and you know, see which side looks better. But so far it is definitely losing points because the sponge is so dense and because I feel like there's much more pulling and dragging going on that I don't normally have to worry about. So let me cut off camera really quick, do my eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using my favorite palette as of late, which is the Huda Creamy palette. This is actually the grayish one, which I have been dying to dip into, but I have not yet. The one that I have been using, literally every single time I do my makeup since I've gotten it, I've been using the neutral brown. I love this palette. I'm scared I'm like about to hit pan on certain shades, but it is so gorgeous, so quick and easy to use, and I feel like it just like looks really good like all day. Like I will wear my makeup when I have it on like this for like 12 hours and it looks amazing, if I do say so myself. All right, I'll be back and then we'll do the rest of it. This is a type of eyeshadow, since it is cream, it kind of has to marinate on your face for a little while, and then I feel like I end up going back and doing some blending once I have my foundation and stuff on. So the very next step I would do is add this Huda. This is actually called a color corrector. I always treat this like a concealer, and this is in the shade Cherry Blossom. So now what I'm gonna do is blend one side out with this and one side out with the Beauty Blender. And I feel like this right away is gonna be a little bit interesting, because honestly, that is my biggest complaint right now. I feel like it would be really easy to adapt to the mechanics of how this little thing is, but because it's such a stiff sponge, like look at that! Ah! I don't want to be like pulling on my thin under eye skin like that. And I also just feel like it's much harder to get the product like in these little crevices, like directly in the corner of my eye or my under eye area, like just a lot of pulling and tugging on the skin, which is so unnecessary. So now let's take this nice, soft Beauty Blender. Y'all, I always love testing out these new gadgets and weird sponges and tools like the Blend Smart or the Silly Sponge. But at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, there is no dupe, no replacement for ye old original Beauty Blender. So the next thing that I like to do is a little bit of underpainting. So I do go ahead and go in with my favorite cream contour, which if you guys can tell, I'm really into the Huda products lately, and I have loved this. I believe this product first came out in 2019, and this has absolutely been my favorite cream contour to use since then. And I do like to go ahead and apply like a generous amount. This is like before my foundation, so I do go in quite heavy-handedly. And then what I like to do is my nose contour, and for that I underpaint as well with the NYX Wonder Stick. I love both this highlight and the contour, and I think, yeah, this is Universal Light, and I just go in there and draw a nose shape. Ta-da! And then I add like this little circle. So let's go ahead and try and use this one. Why not? I'm like redunking it in the water down here to just see if I can puff it up. Can y'all hear the sound effects down here? Try to puff it up like the least little bit that I can. Oh my goodness. I don't know, you guys. Like, it's kind of blending it out, but also I feel like it's still leaving us with a lot of harshness to it. Like, I'm sure y'all will see on the Beauty Blender side. Also, I'm like, am I pressing so hard I'm gonna like bruise my face? I feel like I'm like really just going to town, and this looks so harsh and unblended to me, and I swear I'm really giving it a go here. I'm gonna use the more angled sponge again to blend out my nose, and I feel like this is gonna be quite the challenge because I definitely like my nose contour to be blended so that it doesn't just look like I've drawn a line on the bridge of my nose, which is exactly what I've just done. I mean, that's the weirdest thing, is I almost feel like instead of blending, this is doing a great deal of like just lifting the product onto the sponge. Like, look at that. I feel like I just deposited all of the product and then rolled it right onto the sponge. So that is this side. Now let's blend quick as a flash with this. I feel like this just gives you so much like softer, more diffused look here. And we're tapping. Y'all, I also hope I'm gonna be able to do something with my hair because it is so humid here right now that I feel like I straighten my hair and then it just looks like a mess 5 seconds later. But here we go. I feel like that's all blended now. What do we think? Okay, beauty blender, roller sponge. Can we tell a difference? Time for more underpainting, this time with one of my favorite ColourPop products. This is the blush stick in the shade Mini Me. I feel like this was in some kind of collection, but what collection was that? I don't know. And you guys, I started to do this really harsh TikTok blush underpainting. I do like to look like quite flushed, especially more in the spring and the summer. I feel like I'm kind of almost going for this like cute sunburned look. So once again, I'm going to re-wet this little guy, and I am making a mess down here, splashing all of this water everywhere. Here we go. Is this blending? Y'all, that's the one thing about this TikTok blush technique is I feel like it gives you like very cute flush cheeks when it's very blended out. But if you could just tell that I basically drew a C on my face with blush and then just went about my day like that. Although it doesn't look like there's anything left, you guys. Once again, beauty blender side. Let's just go to town. See, I mean, I feel like that's the point of all this underpainting is I like to see the product still there. I'm just trying to soften it up before I apply the foundation. Yeah, see, I feel like that is the weirdest thing about this. I feel like it is like sucking up and removing all the makeup, yet doing it very, very harshly. Lots of tugging at the skin, and that is honestly, like, I'm not like a chalkboard fingernail kind of person, but I feel like there's very few things that just grate on my nerves in this world, but pulling and tugging at my skin is like a big no-no for me. All right, you guys, moment of truth. It is foundation time. And I feel like this is gonna be just a crusty experience. Yes, look, this whole sponge is pink now. Yeah, I feel like this is just gonna be like kind of a crusty experience because this foundation is old. Oh, it has a scent to it. Y'all, please. This is, what's happening? This foundation is really good though. If you're not a airbrush person and you are in fact more of a traditional foundation kind of person, I feel like I did love this for a hot minute, but in my opinion, now that I've like gone back to airbrush, I will never ever seek out a different type of foundation because with airbrush foundation, you do truly look airbrush. Like, I feel like I have deposited makeup here, but it is patchy. Look, you guys. Not my shade at all. Oh, why does this keep popping off now? Y'all, I mean, I'm just gonna say for $30, unless you create like content online or something where you would want like a really ridiculous way to apply makeup. I mean, honestly, I haven't used this sponge yet because I am kind of thinking like for self-tan on the back or hard to reach areas, like maybe I would use this for that. But other than that, I would surely use this as a joke on TikTok or something. Never in real life. Because like literally, like why do you want your makeup application to just be a struggle? You know, that doesn't really sound fun to me. Y'all, I forgot to like re-dampen my sponge though. So there's that. Like it's really hard for me to not be tempted to go back over this side of my face with this sponge. But I'm gonna attempt to not do that, at least until I'm done filming the video. Then I probably honestly will do touch-ups before I leave the house because I feel like there's such a difference. Like, look at that, you know? Granted, the foundation has sat on my face like a few seconds longer on this side, but I feel like you can just see like the coverage over here is so much different. See, I feel like that's the other reason though that I definitely did start to go with airbrush is like when you have normal foundation on your face, like I feel like you can definitely feel that you have makeup on your face versus airbrush. Like I literally can wear makeup for hours and hours and hours and it feels like like I have nothing on my face. All right, you guys, that is pretty much it. What I'm gonna do now is finish the remainder of my makeup, and then we're gonna check in. We're gonna see if anything settles any differently, but here on out, I'm just going through and adding powder, blush, powder, highlight. There's not really any other cream products that I use, so I will check back in just so you guys can kind of see how everything settles and marinates on my face. And we will do the setting spray and we will call it a day. So I'll be back in just a little bit, but here's what I look like now. Okay, bye for now. All right, you guys, my makeup is done. And now it's time for setting spray. I have been obsessed with the Benefit Professional Super Setter lately. I feel like this is especially really nice and dewy. Once again, now that we have summer weather and full humidity here in Texas, I feel like this is what I'm loving to set my makeup with. Now, you guys, I need to add some foundation to my neck because what is that? But I feel like I'm like going crazy with this. I just sprayed it all into my coffee. Let's get a sample of that. Sippy, sippy. So y'all have to let me know. I did use full willpower and I actually did not go back in and blend anything on this side. So this is like literally just how I left it, except for I did, like I said, add in, you know, my highlighter and stuff like that, but no more blending, as I'm sure you guys can tell. And this is what we're left with, you guys. So while this was a super fun experience, I am definitely going to put this more in the novelty category. It's a conversation piece, it's fun, it's silly. Once again, I feel like if you do content creation, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, like maybe this would be a fun focal piece for content as like a joke, gag gift kind of item. But in all sincerity, there are so many better quality sponges out there that I feel like are gonna actually blend your makeup a lot better. I feel like at the end of the day, once all of this makeup like settled into my face, like, is there that much of a huge difference visually? Probably not. But application wise, like once again, I'm super mindful about how I apply any products to my face. Like I don't like to do a lot of tugging or pulling or anything like that. Like I try and use the most gentlest angel kiss pats that one can possibly imagine. So this is just definitely way too harsh of a tool for me. Now I was thinking I do have some beauty blenders that are kind of starting to rip a little bit because y'all, I've had these since 2019 at least, and I have used them so many times. So now I'm kind of thinking like for my own purposes, because I do love the novelty of the tool, like the rolling kind of function, hilarious. If it was a better quality sponge, I feel like I would get a lot more use out of this tool. So what I'm kind of thinking is maybe I will take one of my older beauty blenders, cut a hole in the bottom, and then be able to mount a real beauty blender onto this tool. Then I would probably use it a lot more, especially for a foundation application, not so much like the fine points of like nose contour or color corrector, concealer, whatever, just because like why? I feel like just tapping and bouncing is the best way to blend those areas. However, to do this and just be able to like roll your foundation on really quick, very funny. So I feel like if I had a softer sponge that worked better, I would definitely use it. How many times did I just say the same thing? Like 3 times around. Anyway, you guys, that's it for me today. I would love to know all of you guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. So let me know, would you buy this item? Would you try this item? Just in case you want to, I do have this product linked to you guys in the info box down below in my Amazon storefront. And I also just have my storefront for you guys linked in case y'all want to see like some of my most favorite, most used products. And I will also have all of the makeup that I used today linked through YouTube shopping. So if you guys are curious about anything I've used today, it will all be linked for you guys somewhere in this video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out today and for watching. If you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below, subscribe, become a member of the Swamp family, and give an alligator its wings. I love you guys so much, and I'll be back again very, very soon. Bye!